Sandy here, and today I am going to be playing with a little bit of mixed media on top of this smooth white cardstock from Close to My Heart. I have two photos here of Mr. Toad's Wild Ride in Disneyland. Not sure yet if I'm going to use one or both of them. I do have some mixed media type ideas. Maybe, you know, something curvy or maybe something going out from the photos. I haven't exactly nailed down what I'm going to do yet, but I've got some ideas going around, so let's see what I can do. Here we go, guys. Take 2 of trying this voiceover. Super frustrated. I got to the very end, and then my iMovie app decided to fail on my iPad. So here we go. Let's try this again. Here I am just brushing some Distress Oxide through a stencil, and I was sure to make the stencil go offset off of my paper. So the stencil is a 12 by 12 stencil, and if you put it directly over top the 12 by 12 sheet of paper, you're going to get that border around the edge. And sometimes I like the border around the edge, and sometimes I don't. And in this case, I did not want the border around the edge. I definitely wanted my dots to go all the way to the edge of the page. So again, the only thing I did was just kind of offset it a little bit. And since there are no real right angles or anything like that with this kind of stencil, it really didn't matter where I put it. So there we go. The stenciling is all finished, and I know it does look a little bit of wonkiness and lopsided, but that's okay because I'm going to cover it up so it looks less wonky and lopsided. Now I pull out my Tim Holtz medium glass mat again, and I am using my Brutus Monroe of the Month clubs. So I have a couple of these of the month clubs that I'm subscribed to from Brutus Monroe. One of them is the Glitter Glaze of the Month, and the other one is the Stencil of the Month club. Now this is the March stencil, and it is an egg shape. But fun fact, guys, you don't have to use your stencils necessarily the way that they are shaped or intended to. So this is definitely an Easter feel. It's got the egg going on, but it's a gorgeous stencil with lots of swirls and dots, and I'm just going to treat it as a swirly and dot stencil. Now this glitter glaze is super gorgeous. It is so smooth. It goes across this paper so nicely, and I love it. Like it's just fun to use. And it does look like it's kind of a powdery or a baby blue in the tube or the jar. It's not really a tube. But it doesn't stay that way. When it dries a deep teal color, like and it's beautiful. Oops, I just dropped it. It's in my hand. It's a beautiful, beautiful teal color. And if I didn't say it already, the color is tiki teal. So I just go ahead and lob that on there. Now I did let this dry overnight, and the next day I added a little bit more of the glitter glaze through the stencil just to give it a little bit more real estate on the page. And again, I let that dry overnight. Now that is not something I normally do. I don't normally let my stuff like this dry overnight, but I was in the middle of creating a bunch of layouts, so it was easy for me this time to set it aside and let it dry and go on to another page and just create something else. So here is how I'm going to determine the way I need to cut the paper to cover up the white spots on my white cardstock. Now this is just some packaging, and I used a Sharpie to just kind of draw out where I wanted the paper to be. And you know, I did those little swirly bits there to show where my glitter glaze went. So I make some little hash marks on the side where I know that I need to cut into my paper. But my mistake here was just drawing the lines. I didn't actually mark the X. So I marked the X here, and it's really the highly scientific way of doing this. I put my pencil over top of the little dot or the little X, and then remove the plastic and redraw the X. Super, super technical here, guys. And so I just went ahead and made a little swirly mark again on that side of the paper, just to make sure I knew that that is where I was cutting out. Now I also did not go all the way to that center of the X on these papers. Really close, but I did not go all the way to the center of the X because I wanted my papers to still be connected. So I've got this going on, and I'm going to add just a little bit of washi tape to give that connection a little bit more strength. And then I'm going to use that same Distress Oxide ink that I used to do the stenciling with around the edge of this polka dotted paper. And I wanted to bring that color to this polka dotted paper just a little bit more, even though those blue dots on here are a pretty spot on match for the little dots that I stenciled on. So I grabbed some unfun foam, and I'm just going to go ahead and mark off where I need to cut it to give it a little bit of dimension. So I want my stenciled dots and my glitter glaze to look like it's underneath of the paper. I want to give it that little bit of extra dimension there. And here's where I make another mistake. I went and put my unfun foam. That foam is not fun. No fun, guys. That unfun foam on top of the dot paper, and that should be the top, not the bottom. So had to fix that. Just going to go ahead and use that highly scientific method of the fingernail push into the unfun foam to mark where I need to cut it, and good, it's down. So now the only thing I'm going to do is make sure that it's lined up on the corner of my paper so that the 90-degree angles are with the 90-degree angles. And then this is where I realize that I have a huge hunk of white space that is not going to be covered up by my polka dot paper. So I grabbed the stencil one more time, and yes, it has been days, and yes, I had not cleaned off that stencil yet. So yeah, it's actually, I don't think I've cleaned it off yet. Nope, it's still sitting over there over top of my cart. So that will have to happen. Oops. Now, I did clean off the egg stencil with the glitter glaze on it. So no worries about that. It's just the Distress Oxide ink that's hanging out on the stencil. And honestly, I'm not too worried about it. So, yeah. So here we go. Matching the 90-degree angles just to make sure that it lays down correctly on the page. And boom, voila. I'm liking it. I'm feeling it's definitely going in the direction I want it to go. When I first had this idea, I wasn't sure what the pattern paper I was going to use. I was actually thinking about just using white, but I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I went with the colorful bits because even though this is something different for me, this kind of layout, it's still in my style. It's still in that colorful style that I think I have, so I'm okay with it. And it's just trying to figure out which photos to use. Was I using both photos? Was I just using one photo? Like which one? I decided to go with one photo, and then I also decided to pull in some tulle. Now this tulle has been in my stash for a number of years. Do you guys remember when fabric was really kind of like a new rage in scrapbooking? And I gone to Joann Fabrics and I bought a bunch of remnants. I had white tulle and black tulle and red tulle and blue tulle. And I think I ended up using the red tulle as like Christmas bows one year. I used the black and the white tulle for scrapbooking, but I never even touched this blue one. And I'm glad I didn't because it works out great. And I think the color is a really like pretty spot on match for that Distress ink blue. So I'm just kind of bunching up the tulle, trying to give it a little bit of depth. I wanted a little bit more excitement than just kind of like a photo mat of it. So I bunched that up, I put it off to the side, and then I decided that I needed to mat this photo. Now I just decided to flip over one of the bits here of the Vicky Bouton paper and just give it a little bit of a photo mat. And then while I'm doing this, I thought, you know what? I need something else. I need something more. I can't just have a single photo mat. I got too much going on in the background down here. So I need my photo mat and photo to be a little bit more exciting. And at this point, I'm just cutting off the extra bit so it's the right size. And then, voila, I figured it out. So I grabbed this other piece of cardstock and went ahead and kind of did like an off-kilter mat here. And using my unfun foam again, because it needed a little bit more off the page. So I definitely wanted 3 distinct paper layers on this layout. So the background, like the middle ground, and the foreground. And even though I do have basically 3 layers on this page of fun, none, blah, 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 blah. Guys, sometimes saying unfun foam just comes out as a blah. Anyway, and I'm not going to edit that out because I can't be bothered. Oh my goodness. So in real life, I, mispronounce words. I just keep going most of the time. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, blah, 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 and then just keep on going. And that's just the way I am. So I don't think I'm going to change it for my YouTube videos because I want the real me coming through. Okay, anyway, so this tool right here, I am stapling it together with my tiny attacher just to make sure that it holds kind of where I want it to go. It's not really some sort of like super technical method or anything like that. It's just putting these little clumps of tulle together so that I can layer them behind this photo mat. And I take off a little bit more of the unfun foam here just so I can fit the tool a little bit better behind the photo. And then that unfun foam is also going to help so that the tool isn't like super high underneath the photo and then it kind of like angles down like a slope. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that where I want it to go. And then I realize that this last one here is a little large, so I go ahead and cut that in half as well. Put a little more adhesive down so it sticks, and there we go. Look at that, it is so fun. And I'm putting a lot of adhesive down on there just to make sure it sticks. I put it right over top the tool as well. So we get Mr. Toad down there. And then there's a little bit of a pop-up from the paper, and I just decide to put a little bit more adhesive there. So I feel like he's looking good. So I've got the tool on the left side and that extra cardstock on the right side, and he's feeling a little bit more balanced. Like I didn't want the tool to be on one side of him and it be so heavy over there. So now I'm just flipping through the Vicky Boutin sticker book, and that is where that blue sticker came from, and also the gold hello words. And I just layered them up a bit. And I'm just trying to embellish and create a little sticker cluster over here. And that's one of the things I really like to do, is take stickers and really just create little fun embellishment clusters. And not necessarily stickers either. It can be die cuts or labels or something like that. It's just something I really enjoy doing. Okay. Now that I've got that basically under like control, it's starting to go. I'm thinking, do I need to add something else? Do I need something at the top? Or do I just really need to keep building this down here? And I decide that I need to keep building it down there, but that circle, little like pinked edge circle, was just way too small for what I wanted. So I'm going through some other things, I'm pulling out labels and bits and stuff, and I pull out this cut apart label strip from Ellie's Studio. And I'm just using my little trimmer over here to trim it down. And I can't even tell you which trimmer I'm using right now. I have 3 right next to me on my desk. I have my old Fiskars Studio Gold Teresa Collins one, which is a slider one. I have my smaller Tim Holtz guillotine that I like to cut photos that I print out of my photo printer with. And also small little bits of paper. And then I have my new Tonic Tim Holtz, the big 12-inch guillotine. So I have no idea which one I'm using right now. So I prop up that little postage stamp looking sticker on some foam as well. Oh, and then my daughter brought me a Hershey Kiss. So that was that. Now these are puffy stickers from Paige Evans. I believe this is the Whimsical collection. I want to say that it is. If it's not, I'm sorry, but I think it is. So I go ahead and put those florals down there, and that's because they're such a great match for the colors in this layout. Now, they are not all spot on the same color, but they're just a good match. Like, colors don't have to be perfect match. They just need to be a good match. So I've pulled out these little mini foam thickers, and I'm going to write out Mr. Toad. And this is one of those kind of good match things. So this blue is definitely darker than any other blue in the layout. But like I said, it's still a good match. Now I use the little dot from the exclamation point to make a period for Mr. And then I'm just putting up Toad. Now I remember when these thickers came out and I saw pictures and stuff from Creativation, and I was so disappointed to realize that the rainbow background was the background. Like, I thought that they were tile thickers, and I was so excited. And then when I realized that they weren't tile thickers, I was so disappointed that I resisted them for a little while. But I got one in my Secret Not Secret Kit Club kit and then fell in love with them. So, you know. Now these are some compliments from Close to My Heart, and I'm not exactly sure which one this is, but I figured that these were a good match as well. And I wanted to create some more clustering and embellishment down here in this title cluster, because really I'm not doing a lot of embellishment all over the page. So I'm trying to embellish up the photo because I like embellishment. Now this scalloped sticker here is teal over top of the blue tulle, and I kind of wanted to repeat that color theme because I have the teal glitter glaze over top of the blue stencil. So I just wanted to have that repeat again in the layout somewhere. And I'm pulling these little stickers because they're so cute and getting that down there. And I'm thinking that I still need to add some more embellishment. Now this page is, you know, it's pretty busy, but I'm okay with it. I like busy. I like color, so I'm good with it. Now this is a new washi tape from the Color Kaleidoscope collection. I love this washi tape. Like, if this washi tape was sold in a single roll, I would buy a couple rolls of it. That's how much I like it. Okay. So now I'm just trying to figure out like where extra little bits should go. And I want to use more of those puffy stickers because I really like those puffy stickers. Okay, so now the fingers. That's what I'm thinking, the fingers move like that. So these are some Chamel hearts, and packaging drives me crazy. So when I have stickers that only have a couple left on them, I end up combining them onto one sticker sheet and putting it in my little basket. The extra packaging just takes up too much space. Now, these little hearts, I believe, are from Michaels. And I'm going to use the teal ones. I'm just trying to figure out how many hearts I want to go down the page here, like where I want them to go. It's just a matter of figuring that out. And I believe I end up with 3. Because I think 3 is a good number. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, yeah, that'll work. Now I need to add these hearts elsewhere on the page. So I put one there by Mr. Toad. I put one in the center of the flower up here by Mr. Toad's face. And then I put one down here, kind of tucked under the photo next to the yay. And I'm pulling out the Chamel sticker book now, and I'm just giving it a good flip through because I think there's something in here I want to use. Because this Chamel sticker book's always a good bet. There's so many options in there. And I'm just giving it a flip through because I think I'm certain there's something in here I can use. And surprise, surprise, I don't. But I'm still not finished. I'm still thinking that there needs to be something going on here. And anytime my hand is like laying on my layout like that, or just kind of laying across my craft mat, it's because I'm looking to the cart or the papers on my right hand side. So these are more of the compliments from Close to My Heart. And I decided I needed something out of there. Oh, I was going to do the arrow, but I didn't like that arrow, so I decided to go with a cork arrow from Studio Calico. And those are old. And then I'm thinking, you know, I am going to need something up here. There's just too much space up here going on where there's nothing. So I'm layering up a heart over top of one of these stickers here, and I'm pulling out that favorite washi tape again and putting it across the page. And I'm like, yep, that's cute. There's just a little something up there, so it's not this big expanse of polka dots. Not that the polka dots are wrong or bad or anything, but you know, there's a big old expanse up there, and I wanted to do something with it. So I decided to bring up another cork arrow, just so I have it on two places on the page. If I have it on one, then, you know, I normally put it somewhere else. Now I grabbed these teal stars, and these are a blingy type star, and I thought that that was a good match for the glitter that was going on with my glitter glaze. So I do 3 stars on the circle lines there up at the top, and then I'm just going to throw a couple of these stars around down here as well. And I repeat that with the 3 stars on top of the circle. So this is kind of sticking up still. It's not as flat as I want it to be. Now I know that it'll flatten out in my album, and I probably should have just let it go, but you know, I had to mess with it. So what am I doing? Oh, I thought since I had the cork arrows, I should try to bring some cork in elsewhere, but it didn't work out. Like I thought maybe I would layer it up there, and I was like, no. Just put that cork sticker away. So I'm just like touching. So this is what I do. This is part of my process. Just kind of like touching my layout, and then I grab some glue here, and I don't know if this is the Lawn Fawn or the Gina K. It looks like the Lawn Fawn. And I put it down there just to help hold it. But then I realized, oh, I didn't have too great of aim, and I have a little bit of glue where the tool is. So I kind of just brush it off a little bit, and it's dried since then, and you can't really tell. So I do believe that that is going to be it. I think I add a little bit of journaling on that postage stamp. I just can't remember if I do that on camera. Nope, I don't. There it is, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and go ahead and click that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber, and leave me a comment if you want to chat, and ring the bell for notifications. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.